Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good morning, class.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
How are you today? Good?
Good, sir.
Okay, so let's continue our lesson. Okay, so today we will be studying about conditional sentence type 3. Before we studied conditional sentence type 2. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before we start further, or before we go further, I'd like to introduce our purpose or our objective of learning this topic. Okay, the objective to identify social function and structure of conditional sentence type 3, and then to differentiate the structure of conditional sentence type 3. Okay, and then the next is to create a sentence using conditional sentence type 3, and the last to state a correct form of conditional sentence type 3. So those are the objective of our learning today. So the content is definition, function, and then formula and example. Okay, guys, so here is the example. Here is the conditional sentence type 3. What is conditional sentence type 3, and how do we use that conditional sentence type 3? Previously, we studied conditional sentence type 2, and then how do we use conditional sentence type 2? Sentence type 2, it's used to express an impossible condition at the present, or to express something is impossible to happen in the present. Yeah, something is impossible to happen in the present. That is conditional sentence type 2. And how about conditional sentence type 3? It used to express an impossible condition in the past. Yeah, we're talking about something happened in the past, and that thing is impossible condition in the past. That maybe you can give note of that, right? Impossible condition in the past, and its probable result in the past, or maybe probable result in the past. These sentences are truly hypothetical or unreal and unreal. Yeah, hypothetical and unreal. It's not real. Why? Because it is now too late for the condition or its result to exist. Why is it impossible to happen, or why is it unreal? Yeah, because it's too late now for the condition or its result to exist or to happen. Okay, here is the example. I'm going to give you the example of that. If I had much money, I would have bought that house. So the action or the thing, the fact is, or the reality, it happened already. We are talking about something in the past, right? For example, last week or last month, or could be last year. Last year, there is a nice house I wanted to buy, but the problem is I didn't have money at that time. Yeah, but now I was thinking like this. If I had much money, I would have bought that house. Yeah, if I had much money, I would have bought that house. So it is like pengandaian, ya. Pengandaian, seandainya lah dulu itu aku punya duit, aku akan beli rumah itu. But the fact is, at that time in the past, I did not have much money. I had money, but maybe not that much to buy that house. So the fact is, I didn't buy that house. Yeah, I didn't buy that house because I did not have much money. That is the fact. Understand? So the reality or the fact, conditional sentence type 3, well, the fact is simple past tense, and when conditional is sentence type 3, the fact or the reality is simple past tense. If we compare to conditional sentence type 2, the fact is present tense. Yeah, type 2, the fact is present tense, but it is impossible to happen, or it is unreal. In conditional sentence type 3, the fact or the reality is simple past tense. Can you understand? Can you understand? Or do you have any problem? If you have an ask question, please ask. So here I give the fact here. Yeah, if I had much money, I would have bought that house. So what does it mean? The meaning is, the fact is I did not have much money and I didn't buy that house. Okay, right. Do you have question? No question?
Sir, I wanna ask.
Yeah, okay, please, Anissa Pratiwi. Yeah.
Patternnya kayak mana, sir? Gimana?
Sorry.
The formula, sir.
Oh, the formula. Okay, we will talk the formula later in the next slide. Yeah, Anissa. Oh, okay, actually, you can see here. Here's if, which is the if clause here? Conditional sentence consists of two clauses, right? If clause and main clause or result clause. So which is the result clause here and which is the if clause? Anybody can tell me which is the if clause and which is the result clause? Ada yang tahu? If I had much money is if clause, and I would have bought that house is the result clause. Yeah. Okay, so now we will talk about the formula in the next slide. Yeah. Okay, there is always some implication. Okay, so another thing that you have to understand is there is always some implication of regret with type 3 conditional sentence. The reality is the opposite of or contrary to what the sentence expresses. In type 3 conditional sentence, the time is in the past and the situation is hypothetical. Hypothetical, yeah. All right, so here it also always it has the implication of regret. Ada penyesalan di situ, ya. Ada kayak nyesel gitu. When we using conditional sentence type 3, it also to express about regret. What is regret? What is regret? Regret artinya apa, Nana?
Menyesal.
Penyesalan, kayak penyesalan ya. Ya, kayak nyesel gitu deh. If I had that much money, I would have bought that house. So, or another example is if I had been in the class yesterday, I would have met Mr. Daulat, for example. Yeah, so it is conditional sentence type 3, and in that sentence, first the reality is the opposite, ya, berlawanan dengan yang diucapkan, ya, because it will not be exist anymore, or it cannot happen again, right? And also there is always some implication of regret with type 3 condition. You can use that to express a regret too. Okay, you can use conditional sentence type 3 to express a regret, penyesalan. Okay. Okay, so this is what I said at the beginning. If clause, the conditional sentence is always consists of two clauses. If clause and main clause. If clause as the condition sebagai syaratnya, and main clause is as the result. Example, if clause, main clause. If clause, the condition how thing can occur. Ya, syarat bagaimana sesuatu itu terjadi. That is if clause. Yeah, and the main clause is the result of the if clause, the result of this if clause. Main clause is the result of this clause. For example, is if I had much money, That is the if clause. That is syarat. Syarat untuk membeli rumah ini, I must have much money, right? If I had much money, that is as the condition sebagai syaratnya untuk beli rumah ini. And the main clause is the result. I would have bought that house. This is if clause, and this one is main clause. Here is the form or the pattern. Yeah, the pattern of conditional sentence type 3. Okay, if is if clause, okay, and then after if it's followed by past perfect tense. So the condition atau kalimat syaratnya itu it's constructed by using past perfect tense. Past perfect tense. Yeah, past perfect tense. I hope you still understand. You still remember the form of past perfect tense. Yeah, and then the next or the result clause. How do we use the result clause? How do we form the result clause? It's constructed from past future perfect tense. We can use past future perfect tense. Past future perfect tense. Okay, this is if clause or condition, and this is main clause as a result. Okay, well, Anissa Pratiwi, this is the form. You still have a question?
No, sir.
You got it? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, and then the next. Okay, can we swap the place? Or we exchange the place? If clause is in the end clause, and then the first is the result clause. Can we do that or not? Do you think we can do that?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yes, we can do that, right? So it doesn't matter, yeah? It doesn't matter. You can always swap the place. You can place if clause in the beginning of the sentence, and then the result clause is the next. Or you can place the result clause at the beginning and if clause is after. But you have to remember the if clause, even though you put in the first or in the last, it still become if clause. Jadi dia masih tetap menjadi if clause di situ sebagai syarat meskipun kalian letakkan di awal atau di akhir. It's still if clause. Ya, and then the pattern is follow the rule of if clause. Ya, bukan berarti when you place the main clause in the beginning and then the patterns or the formula is changing or it's placing like if clause. No, jadi enggak. Jadi tetap ya if clause ya the pattern of if clause. Ya, and then when it become a main clause and the pattern is still it keep to be if result clause or main clause. Okay. Right. So the sentence has two kinds of sentence: verbal sentence and nominal sentence. Okay, so here let's talk about the if clause here. If past perfect tense and past future tense as the result clause. Yeah. If and then past perfect tense is subject, head, and then verb 3 and object. So when I say if I had much money, if and then I and then had and then had. So why there are two had here? The first had is as the auxiliary verb or helping verb, kata kerja bantu di sini. And the second had is as the main verb or ordinary verb. So there are similar in the form, but it's different in the use. The function is different. Ya, fungsinya berbeda. The first function is as the helping verb, and the second had the function is as the main verb or the ordinary verb. I hope you understand. Can you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So no matter what kind of verb you use? That's it's not only had, but here it must had. Yeah, it must had here. But the second verb, it depends on the verb you use. For example, is if I had studied, that is the verb 3. If I had spoken, also verb 3. If I had eaten, okay. Can we change into negative? Yes, we can change into negative. If I had not eaten, yeah. So you can also form is as a negative, right? Not only in a positive. Right, so and then the result clause is subject, and then what we call past future, would is as a past future, would, yeah. What is the present of would? Will. Would is a past future, and then perfect tense, past future perfect tense. So it is like a combination of past future and perfect tense. Okay, so if I had much money, I would have bought, okay, bought that house. So bought is a verb 3, okay, because it's perfect tense. Right, this is a verbal sentence. How about example? Okay, now let's talk about the example of the verbal sentence first. Okay, so here's an example. If I had much money, I would have bought that house. So we did it already before. And then this one, if you had gone to bed earlier, you wouldn't have felt so tired. Okay, so look at this one here. Which is the if clause? Can you tell me which is the if clause of the sentence?
If you had gone to bed earlier,
Okay, if you had gone to bed earlier, that is if clause. Okay, how do we form if clause here? How do we construct or how do we form if clause here? How do we form if clause? Can you tell me? Anybody can tell me how do we form or how do we construct if clause?
Yang if-nya, sir.
If, okay. If, and then after if?
Subject, sir.
Subject, and then?
It's perfect.
Past perfect, yeah, past perfect tense. If plus past perfect tense, yeah. I hope you still remember how do we form past perfect tense, yeah. And then which is the result clause or the main clause?
You will not have felt so tired.
Okay, you wouldn't have felt so tired. That's correct. And then how do we form the main clause?
Subject would have plus verb 3, sir.
Okay, good. You a subject would plus have plus verb 3. That's correct. Okay. And now this is the example when we place the result clause at the beginning and the if clause is after the main clause. Yeah. Example like I would have bought that house if I had much money. I would have donated my money to charity if I had won the singing contest. Right. So which is the if clause here? This number 4.
If I had won the singing contest, sir,
That is the if clause. Which is the main clause or the result clause?
I would have donated my money
To charity. Do you know what charity is? What does it mean, charity?
Panti asuhan, sir.
Apa? What is charity? Apa tadi? Siapa tadi? Apa
Panti
artinya
asuhan.
charity?
Panti asuhan.
No panti asuhan, tapi seperti sedekah gitu ya, atau zakat. Charity itu ya kayak sedekah gitu ya, kayak zakat, sedekah lah, sedekah ya. I would have donated my money to charity ya. To charity kayak amal ya, amal ya. Okay, you understand? Right, so now the nominal sentence. Okay, the previous sentence, the sentence has verb. Okay, or we use ordinary verb. And how about if the sentence has no ordinary verb, or we use nominal sentence. I hope you still remember nominal sentence. Ya, nominal sentence, the sentence has no ordinary verb. Nggak ada verb actionnya, nggak ada ya. Acting verbnya nggak ada. Or ordinary verb. We don't use ordinary verb here, but we use be form, to be form. Ya, to be yang kita gunakan di sini. Okay, can we change that to be conditional sentence type 3? Of course, we can do that. Example, this is the pattern, right? If, and then subject, had. This is same, yeah, it's similar. Had, and then been, and then adjective, right? So been, okay. Instead of using verb 3 of acting verb, so here we use been. Been is the verb 3 or the form of is mr. The third form of is mr. Okay, so if I had been, adjective, and it's connected with adjective because we don't have the verb here as an acting verb, so we use adjective. Been is connected with adjective, not object. Okay, and then as the result clause, subject plus would, and then plus have, and also we use been here, and then connected with adjective. Okay, right. So an example, if I had been a student at XII Foundation, I would have been very diligent. Ya, kalau seandainya saya itu menjadi murid CTF, ya, saya sudah akan pastinya menjadi rajin, ya. What is the fact here? Jadi apa faktanya di sini? What is the fact?
If I had been a student at ZF.
He's not a student of ZF.
The fact is, I was not a student at CTF. I am not, or I was not.
Belum, Sir.
Was not, or I am not.
I was not.
I was not, yeah, because the fact of conditional sentence type 3 is simple past. Ya, faktanya, jadi faktanya itu kan berlawanan dengan apa yang diucapkan dalam conditional sentence type 3. So the fact or the reality is past tense because we are talking about something it's unreal or improbable or impossible in the past. Okay, kita ngebayangin atau mengekspresikan tentang sesuatu yang tidak mungkin terjadi di masa lalu, itu nggak mungkin terjadi di masa lalu. Pada saat itu di masa lampau nggak mungkin terjadi itu. Oke. Right, so another example is if he had been rich. If he had been rich, he would have been grateful. Ya, so he's been here instead of acting verb, ya. Kita menggunakan been, ya. If he had been rich, he would have been grateful. The fact is, what is the fact?
He was not rich, sir.
Okay, he was not rich, and he would have been grateful. Was he grateful or not? What does it mean grateful? Apa artinya grateful? Bersyukur. Ya, dia bersyukur apa enggak? Makanya dia enggak bersyukur. So he was not grateful. He was not rich and he was not grateful. Makanya dia kurang bersyukur. Dia enggak banyak-banyak berterima kasih dia di situ ya. Alright, so that's an example. Itu cuma example saja ya. Okay, another example, if you had been on time to the meeting, I would have been grateful. So what is the fact?
Dia nggak tepat waktu, Sir.
Yeah, he was not on time to the meeting. Okay, well, what about this one? If he had been diligent, he would have been successful. What is the fact?
Malas, Sir.
Was not diligent.
He was not diligent. And then, was he successful or not?
Not.
No, he was not successful. Okay, can you see the what is this? The pattern here Formulanya udah dapat? If past,
Subject.
or you can say if plus past perfect 10, and the result clause is past future 10. Past future perfect 10. Okay. Right. Any problem? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Very
No.
good then. Okay. Now, verbal and nominal example. Okay. If the weather had been so bad, we would have gone to the park. Okay. Nominal or verbal?
Nominal.
Okay. Combination. Yeah. Sini verbal and nominal. And this one is verbal. Okay. I would have given everyone a bike if I had been a president of Indonesia. Nominal or verbal?
Combination, sir.
Yeah. Which is the nominal? Which is the verbal?
The nominal is the if clause, and the verbal is the main clause.
The main clause. Okay, that's right. So what about this one? Same, yeah. If I had been a doctor, I would have treated you well. Yeah. But the fact is, I was not a doctor, so I couldn't treat you well. Yeah. If I had been a rich man, I would have traveled to Paris. So the fact is, what is the fact?
I was not a rich man, sir.
I was not a rich man. Okay, very good. Next. Okay, exercise now. Okay, state whether it is correct or incorrect. Okay, that's your turn now to correct the sentence or to state or to decide whether the sentence is correct or incorrect. Number one. Okay, make it quick. Correct or incorrect?
Correct, sir.
Correct.
Is it correct? Yeah, that's correct. If I had worked harder, I would have passed the exam. Very good. Number two, is it correct or incorrect?
No, sir.
Why is it incorrect?
Because B, sir. We should
Because
put
of B. All right. So, and supposed to be harusnya
Bin.
Been
been. Okay. I would have been happy if you have called me on my birthday. Okay. Very good. Right. So next, this one. Correct or incorrect?
Incorrect, sir.
Incorrect. Why is it incorrect?
The main clause is not useful, sir.
What?
The main clause not useful, sir.
The main clause is not
Full.
good. Why is not good? Hairil
Wool,
Mustaqim.
wool, sir.
Huh?
Wool.
Oh, this is I would. Okay. If you can say also sometimes had been can be contracted by had. Yeah. Okay. If it's would, it is wrong. If you had given me your email, I would have written to you. It can be constructed ya. Ini bisa disingkat seperti ini sebenarnya. I would itu bisa disingkat ya. Tapi if had ini bisa. If you had given me your email, I would have written to you. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that is the end of our lesson. Okay. Do you have any problem? Oh, you still have here? We still have. Can you answer this one? If I have much money, I will pay your debt. Okay, now
Incorrect,
what
sir.
you have to do here, change to be type 3. Who want to change this sentence to be type 3?
Me, sir.
Okay, Hairul Mustaqim, yes, please.
If I had not money, I would pay your debt.
Not yet.
I would have
Okay.
paid your debt.
Okay, I would have paid your debt. Okay, number 2. Is it correct or not?
no, sir.
No, it's not correct. Why is not correct?
The if clause it should have-nya, sir. Harusnya had like this.
If clause harusnya had, not have. Okay. And then what else? Ada lagi tuh?
The main clause use have, sir, not had.
Okay, very good. Yeah, the main clause supposed to use have, not had. Okay, very good. Next, number 3. Correct or incorrect?
Correct, sir.
Is it correct? Yeah, it's correct. If it had rained, you would have gotten wet. Okay. Right. So I think that's all for today. Thank you for joining the class today, and I hope you understand. If you still have a problem, feel free to ask. Okay. And we close by reciting Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Alamin. Don't forget to do your task in Schoology. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.